Keir Starmer was in the hot seat in Parliament earlier, this over his decision to appoint Peter Mandelson as Britain's top diplomat to Washington and effectively brush aside security concerns. Starmer once again faced calls to resign from the opposition after former top civil servant Olly Robbins testified this week that there was an atmosphere of pressure from Downing Street to approve Mandelson's appointment so he could be in the post at the start of Donald Trump's second term in office.
Mr. Speaker, I cannot accuse the Prime Minister of deliberately misleading the House, but everyone can see what has happened here. This was not due process. Everyone knows the price of misleading the House. Will the Prime Minister finally take responsibility and go?
Mr. Speaker, the Leader of the Opposition claimed on Friday that Mandelson could not have been cleared against security advice. She was wrong about that. She said that ministers must have been told. She was wrong about that. She claimed there was deliberate dishonesty. She was wrong about that. Wrong, wrong, wrong. They let the country down for 14 long years. Whatever she says, whatever noise they make, nothing is going to distract me from delivering for our country.
We can now go across to Bénédicte Paviot standing by in London. Bénédicte, good afternoon. How do you think the Prime Minister fared in Parliament there?
Well, he was combative, but what doesn't change is the fact that he has been seriously damaged over the last 3 days. Monday, you'll remember, he came to the House to make that statement. We carried it here on the English Channel for over 40 minutes, and it was wise to do so because this is a Prime Minister that is standing accused of cronyism, of not respecting due process. And we had those long exchanges on Monday. We then had an emergency debate yesterday afternoon called by the opposition, the Leader of the Opposition, Bénédicte, and I'll come on to her in just a moment. And of course, we had 2.5 hours before the 3-hour debate, 2.5 hours yesterday morning, from that of witnessing before a Parliamentary committee, the Foreign Affairs Committee, of Sir Olly Robbins. Sir Olly Robbins, retain that name. This is the top civil servant of the Foreign Office, who was sacked unceremoniously by Keir Starmer last Thursday evening after that Guardian news report on the Thursday morning that actually revealed that Peter Mandelson, the former UK ambassador to Washington, had in fact not initially been cleared for security. So in other words, the UK sent an ambassador who had security problems and concerns, but he was then cleared unbeknownst to Keir Starmer, the UK Prime Minister, no less, that had been going on. So to come to Prime Minister's questions, which of course viewers will know is that half an hour or 35 minutes in the House of Commons, so once a week that a British Prime Minister has to come to the House if he or she is not travelling. And it was, again, a very good performance from the Tory leader, asking Mr. Starmer repeatedly was, what about the accusation by Sir Olly Robbins yesterday that there was a dismissive attitude to vetting? No, there was no dismissive attitude to vetting, said the Prime Minister. Ms. Bénédicte then said, well, do you stand by your previous statement of yours to Parliament that due process was followed in this Mandelson's appointment? And the Prime Minister used 3 words: yes, I do. So the fact that Olly Robbins did not tell him that Peter Mandelson had been cleared, despite security vetting officials recommending against it, Mr. Starmer said, quote, puts to bed all the allegations levelled at me. Then he was asked about another revelation that came through the session yesterday morning with Sir Olly Robbins, in which Sir Olly Robbins talked about a possible diplomatic job being considered for a former Director of Communications, Matthew Doyle, in Downing Street, that he could get a role of ambassador possibly. Could he be considered for one? And there the Prime Minister answered, well, he didn't answer directly. He basically said, anybody leaving a job, when somebody's about to leave a job, you talk about other posts. Sir Ed Davey, the leader of the Liberal Democrats, tried to actually land a punch there also. And he said he noted that the Prime Minister did not answer. The key moment is really the clip that we've just played, where basically Kemi Badenoch accused the Prime Minister and the Labour government of cronyism and being an old boys club, in other words, finding jobs for the boys. She said that Labour backbenchers themselves, who have it in their power to do a vote of confidence and force the Prime Minister to resign, know that this is not fair, that Robbins was sacked. And she asked the Prime Minister to take responsibility and go, to which the Prime Minister said, nothing is going to distract me from delivering for our country. So a combative performance from a very damaged Prime Minister.
So he's damaged, but is anyone in the Labour Party clamoring to get his job?
Well, behind the scenes, yes. And actually, there's a lot of talking going on behind the scenes. We had comments made yesterday from the Foreign Secretary, Yvette Cooper, also from the Energy Secretary, Ed Miliband, who yesterday afternoon seemed to be distancing themselves, didn't really want to comment very much on what had happened in Parliament yesterday, or really take side with their boss, Keir Starmer. So talking to sources this morning as we prepare for what are very much on the minds of all MPs, which are local elections in which the Labour Party are going to do, it seems, quite badly. I'm told that Labour is really worrying and discussing this internally. Indeed, that there is a live discussion going on within Cabinet about all these events and how damaged the Prime Minister is. Is there an obvious successor to Keir Starmer? Could that happen very soon? It seems not. There are various people who are jockeying for position, but nobody, it seems, is quite ready. So will that vote of confidence and problem massively come for Keir Starmer just after the local elections due on the 7th of May? Or will it take a little bit longer? The Labour Party is not known for cutting and ousting their leaders quickly, unlike the Tory party.
Bénédicte, we will see what happens. Thank you very much for that. Bénédicte
We
Paviot
will.
reporting there for us from London.